Hi, beautiful people. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be a live all about speaking across cultures. Now, many of you are possibly a speaker. Maybe you've tuned onto this video because you are an established speaker and you know how to do this already and you want to tweak some of your special tips and tools that you already learned about how to really get your message across to many people. And maybe you're just starting out and you're not so sure if you really have enough information about how to get this done. Whatever you are thinking about so far, wherever you've uh, tried to speak to different groups of people, I hope tonight to give you just a few basic ideas that are really going to help you feel more confident, but also understand the really important leverage you get from being able to have a message that isn't just one-way traffic and isn't really just going out to a specific group of people. Because really, when you're looking at becoming global or moving your brand beyond your own borders, it's really important to start to consider that people out there that you could be speaking to have a few things going on that you may have no idea about. And this means that it's very easy to be making assumptions about the audience, what they think is relevant, what they don't think is relevant. And you do a lot of that assumption based on what you know. And there's this really great um, sentence or adage that we all know, we've all heard many times, and it's very true in this case, that you only know what you know. You don't know what you don't know. So if you've got someone in your audience that you are about to address or you're about to present to that has a point of view or a reference in life or an experience in life that is so different from you just simply don't know that. And you don't know about their context. You don't know about the details of their lives. So there's many things that could be very unknown to you at any given moment. It's a given, right? We live in a world with so much diversity, but many of us who want to go global or want to take business transculturally or across cultures may need to be speaking to different groups of people that are exactly that, people that have very diverse and different experiences to you. And then you cannot make assumptions about them. This means you need to be able to have a general approach that is going to really connect with that person enough still so that you don't lose them in something that's too broad, but at the same time, something that's really relevant. And one quick way to do that, which is my first tip for you tonight, is to really be clear that your speeches have what I call this emotional factor. Okay. And that means that you're appealing to human emotion, because no matter where someone comes from, no matter what culture they're from, what language they speak, how much English they understand, which is a really big factor I'm going to get to in a minute, you really need to be thinking a lot more about the type of emotion you're going to be bringing in your speech. The storytelling you're using needs to hit on some emotional moments or needs to be sharing a kind of relatedness with this group of people that is going to be very successful if you use a specific part in your story to talk about this emotional response or something that happened that made you feel a certain way if you're telling a story about you, or a common thing that we all struggle with. So maybe it's a feeling we all have. This is a very, very powerful way of building bridges between you and possible people in different cultures when you're addressing them. So when you're looking at this kind of difference, it's very important to remember that also in some cultures, emotion is not shared in the way that you might be used to. In certain continents, for example, emotion might be very withheld. It might be quite shameful to admit deep or difficult, dark emotions. So you want to be aware of that if you're going to certain groups or certain countries. Do a little bit of research, find out how are people communicating, what is the communication style, know your audience, try and understand their background, their communication style, and start to have like a body of work, maybe a few videos of people talking in that country. Maybe you speak to someone who's a psychologist maybe you speak to someone in your industry before you do your speech to that group of people, and find out a bit more about how you can bridge this gap between how you're going to talk about the emotion and how much you're going to allude to in your story, so that you're not just kind of disclosing something that's very uncomfortable for that audience group to the point where they really will find it weird. And you're also not, withholding. So that the way you're sharing the emotion in your speech is also very, very relevant. Now, this is the very first tip. The second one I want to give you is to also be back on this point of research, is to be quite clear that you have a job to do in getting your message across, of course. And in order to do that, I alluded to it before, you do need to do some research. So another very important way to really connect with a group that is beyond your culture, different to you, or even across many different cultures, is to find out enough about different groups of people. And one way that you can be doing that is to actually visit many countries in your career, and also speak to many people that have been to many countries in this format where they've been speaking to different groups, and get their opinions. So do some background checking, do some research, do some investigation to find out the receptivity of that cultural group. How receptive are they? What do they appreciate in a speech? Like, how much of the speaker's message was really understood? What kind of tips and tools could a speaker friend of yours give you about talking in Japan, for example, or talking in Dubai? Maybe you've got some leaders that have been to Africa. Ask them, how does it work in Africa? How is the level of receptivity there about cryptocurrencies, or what kind of reading level are the people in that particular group? Because many of the times you're going to find the language that you're using, which often has been said to be English as one of the most kind of successful ways, let's say, of getting a message across cultures, has in it a huge amount of people using it, but that doesn't mean all these people understand English at the level that you might be speaking it, right? So you need to investigate that. How literate is the country in English? How developed is the English education in that country? If you're going to a school of, let's say parents, maybe they all say, yeah, they speak English fine, but there could be ways that you have to minimize certain language words and actually drop the level of English so that it's very understandable. And Grammarly is a really great tool to do that. So you want to check a little bit more about how that country operates, the cultural norms, the language level of English, the receptivity of that group of people. Now, there's also a third point I want to share with you today, which is about the kind of selling that you will be doing in and after your speech. Now, culturally, there are many different ways to understand the purpose of a speaker on stage. And in some cultures, it's not appropriate to pitch and sell. It's considered quite tacky, or, unprofessional even, and at times clumsy, right? And so you will need to find very specific ways that align better with the people that you're speaking to actually let them know about your service or your offer. And in some cases, like in Europe, for example, I know very strongly that's something that requires a lot of dedicated attention and preparation. And of course, if you've done your research and you found out, there are certain kind of things that need to be managed a certain way in Europe, you need to actually bring a lot more evidence for what you're speaking about. For example, you need to talk about past testimonials. You need to talk more about case studies. You need to be able to show why you get to a certain conclusion. You need to demonstrate your value a little bit more than just cutting to the chase and saying that you're great or building up your credibility too much. There's subtle nuances in a European audience level of understanding and receiving your message that you need to be respecting. Otherwise, it could really backfire, a real boomerang there if you're kind of, too in your face about it. Whereas if you go to a kind of USA platform, there are loads of events that are actually quite open to selling, to pitching. Sometimes people are really waiting for your call to action. And that's not to say one is just kind of too in your face about it either. A little bit of subtlety and care is always useful in how you do these things. But of course, the tolerance level is different. And you will need to find out if you're going to the Middle East, for example, and you're looking at possibly going again to a continent you've never been to. Maybe you're going to Australia. What's the general feeling in these countries when it comes to selling and selling from the stage, or outright pitching a service? It's very important that you begin to really check that out and know that you set yourself up in the right way to not be overstepping the line too often. Now, this has been just a special introduction from me to you about considering some tips. I have a few more that I just want to mention to you, but if you want to come along to our training in February and March, I'll be doing a whole speaker training course, which I call Public Speaker to Paradigm Shifter, which actually takes you step by step into different aspects of optimizing your speaking career. We look at very specific details like how to speak to emerging markets. For example, we have a great project running in Dubai with Women of Truth, the platform I'm running, and I am looking for speakers who can work the stage, but with a very honorable and heart-based message. And I will be promoting those speakers and offering a pay-to-play option there as a partner and sponsor, promoting you, your business, taking you into PR and publicity type packages if that's part of the sponsorship package you choose, putting you in magazines, and on our promo reels if you choose those packages, and then introducing you to my networks on the ground. So please consider that your speaking can actually take you to emerging markets. It can actually help you build and scale a business. And if you are a heart-based entrepreneur, or maybe you have a purpose-driven business, or you're looking for a great group of people that work in a very integritous way, we are Women of Truth, and we would love to discuss with you some ways to raise you up and to build your visibility. We're all about that. And then, of course, I have some tips that I'm talking about that relate more to the way you use your literal language, how you use humor when you're translating that across cultures as a speaker, and then also how you need to be very patient with certain audience groups in that their ability to understand and receive and respond to what you have to bring may be very different to what you're used to. So there's a kind of respect level that we need to have when we are going into different cultural groups. And perhaps it's going to take longer to sell certain products and services. Perhaps you have to repackage them. Perhaps you need the guidance of people like the experts I have in the MENA region, the Middle East, North Africa region, who are helping us understand more about the details you need to be thinking about if you're going to be building business in the Middle East. We're here in Cyprus. We have a very mixed combination of people here, and then we have, a lot of people that are not necessarily interested in very deep conversations. So how would you bring that kind of person that I say is a bit more left brain into your kind of conversation on your areas of interest and your services and your delivery? These are things that I tackle in the Public Speaker to Paradigm Shifter. But the main thing in that training is really helping you find your USP, your special signature style, your signature message, but specifically the unique intelligence you have that you can bring to the market. And then learning to tweak that according to what the market needs, learning to design speeches that are actually impactful, that actually shift the paradigm in your industry. I'm interested in thought leaders really being able to build the new system. I'm interested in evolutionaries, in spirit-based change, in people that are here to lead us across the frothy edge of evolution. Those of us that are ready to kiss each other over the edge, able to take us to this brand new day. Those who've walked the dark night of the soul. And that's why This training is for people that maybe are established speakers. So if that's you, come along. I'd love to work with you, who want to find something more unique to present, or they want to make that little pivot that's going to make a huge difference and really put their PR and visibility up there. And those who don't even know where to begin or what to do, I teach basic speaking methods and formulas and take it all the way up into these specific variations that make such a significant difference, as I've just explained. So for those of you that have come to this call or who will be looking at this video interested more in the Dubai option, I want to share with you that we have a speaker slot there, which gives you 15 minutes on stage to pitch your services. If you are in the visibility, PR, or publicity space, we would love to work with you because we want to promote what you do to our guests and our leaders there. They are looking to go global and they would love to know what you can provide for them. Another category of people that we're looking at is anybody in the integrative health space in Dubai that would like to speak on our stage. We have special slots for you as well. We have what's called the silver, gold, and platinum sponsorship packages, which include, as I mentioned, sometimes a night stay in the hotel. They also include the PR and publicity promo in a certain magazine in that local district of Dubai, and it goes out to the UK, Africa, and the Middle East. And then we also have certain SEO optimization for you with our partner groups. And for that, we want to make sure that we promote you and raise you up, give you the visibility you deserve, and help you launch your business, your idea into Dubai. If any of this sounds interesting to you, you can book a call with me. If you want to know more about speaking, you can come and have a look at our speaking platform and also our partners. We have over 21 media partners that help move you around the world, including many speaker bureaus and podcast lists. And we also have these meetings about Dubai with a new theme every 2 weeks. So hop on a call, come and find us, and we would love to learn more about you and your business and help you move further in 2024. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I look forward to seeing you very soon. And if you like, watch some of these other videos. Bye.